Hello from Athens, Greece. My name is Andreas Larentzakis, and I work for Keytours Vacations. Today, I'd like to introduce you to the Greek islands and give you some important information of how to get to Greece, what kind of holiday to select, and how to work with your local travel agent in putting this trip together. But before doing that, I wanted to say a few words about Keytours Vacations. We are a company based in Fairfax, Virginia, and we work closely with travel agents and their customers, putting together holidays around Europe, and not only Europe, but also South America, Asia, Africa, Australia, the world. But today, the topic is Greece, and I'm happy to start this presentation and share this information with you. As I said, there are very good reasons to book your trip using a travel agent after you've done your research online. And your travel agent will work with us, who are destination experts, and are able to put all the components of your trip together. You will get a very quick response to your requests, and we have our own local offices or representative offices in each location, including Greece and any part of the world you choose to travel. You will enjoy 24/7 emergency assistance, and we have a wide range of hotels in our system, and you will get expert advice as to what kind of hotel to choose based on the location and based on your expectations and budget. So let's start with Greece and why Greece is very popular, and it is one of our top destinations for the last 10 years. Greece, the best time to visit Greece is of course during the summer, and from April to October. The actual summer period where the weather is nice and you can swim is June, July, and August. But for those who are not keen only on a beach holiday, you can enjoy very good weather from October, which is springtime, from April all the way to October, which is autumn. Greece, because it has 300 days of sunshine, we accept visitors all the year, and you will particularly find very good offers on flights and accommodation during the months of November to March. One question that I always get is about the Greek islands, because let's face it, the main reason of people coming to Greece is the Greek islands. The question is, do the Greek islands close down? The answer is no, because locals live on the Greek islands. The only thing that you will expect is that you will not find the same range of hotels or bars or restaurants 12 months a year. During the summer period, you will find more options to choose from. And of course, if you travel to the Greek mainland, everything is open and you can enjoy your holiday 12 months a year. Greece has spectacular scenery, not only on the Greek islands, but also in mainland Greece. This particular slide is taken in central Greece in a region called Meteora. You can see the reason why it's called Meteora, because these rocks look like meteors, and during the Byzantine times, monasteries were built on top of these rocks for spiritual reasons. It's a spectacular site, and I'll highly recommend you visit it. But before going into further details, I'd like to go through the outline of my presentation today. I'd like to cover Athens, which is my hometown, and give you some hints of what you can do and enjoy during your stay in Athens. Then I will move into the mainland of Greece and the treasures that you come across there. And finally, the Greek islands. When I do the Greek islands, I like to do a small sample itinerary of how somebody can visit the Greek islands over a period of 10 days. So you need to come to Greece first, and fortunately there are a lot of direct flights from many cities in USA to Athens, as well as that you can connect via European cities to Athens. So if you want to combine your Greek holiday with London, you can have a stopover in London before you come to Greece. Upon arrival in Athens, we have a welcome desk and a welcome service, and you'll be met in Athens by our local representatives who will either take you to your private car to get to your hotel, or will give you information if you haven't organized a transfer of how to get to Athens by train or by local transport. Coming with from a long trip, it's always advisable to have somebody to meet you and take you to the hotel the first day, and at the same time get some information about the city. While in Athens, people usually stay 2 or 3 nights, even though this exciting city warrants a longer stay. There are a lot of things that you can do in Athens, but here is a few little favorites of mine. Athens has a very nice metro system, and this photo with this is the Acropolis station. As you can see, when they were digging the metro, they found some antiquities which they display around the metro. We also have a tram which moves along the city, and it's a nice slow way to explore the city. It's only a couple of euros, or you can buy a day card that combines the transportation in Athens. The tram in particular goes all the way to the beach, to the Athenian Riviera, as we call it. And again, very close to Athens, without even going to the Greek islands, you can enjoy a swim. Here in this slide, I show you the Acropolis Museum. It's a museum that was finished in 2004, and it's one of the most visited attractions in Europe. I believe it's the 4th museum in Europe in number of visitors. As you can see, when you are in the museum, you can have a view of the Acropolis across. And I love on the weekends to go and enjoy a cup of coffee, use my computer and spend time in this lovely location. This is very much in the center of Athens, and you can easily walk to the museum from the local hotels. Now, around the Athens Acropolis is what we call Plaka. It's the original Athens, old Athens, and it was built around the Acropolis, and you can see a lot of nice buildings, neoclassical buildings, as well as a lot of tavernas and souvenir shops. So it's a great idea to have a walk around Plaka one afternoon and enjoy the local atmosphere. And while you're at it, you can have a souvlaki. What is a souvlaki? Is the Greek street food. It's our version of McDonald's, but it's much tastier and more filling. As you see, it's a combination of different kinds of meats, a bit of a tomato salad, chips, and pita bread. So, if nothing else, when you're in Athens or in Greece for that reason, don't miss out on this little experience. Very close near to Athens is the port of Piraeus. It's about like 3 miles. And from the port of Piraeus, all the boats that go to the Greek islands depart. So again, if you stay a couple of nights in Athens and you take a boat to the Greek islands, we can organize a transfer for you to start your trip. This is not the actual commercial port. This is another port, what we call Micro Limano. It's a small port, and as you can see here, it's dotted with lovely little fishing tavernas and seafood places that you can enjoy during your stay in Athens. So again, that's another outing that you can consider when you are in Athens. And here I have a little sample of what you can expect to eat in that little port. This is one of the many tavernas, but I like myself because it has a very simple and small menu. Here you can see a Greek salad, some fried prawns, and red mullet. Wonderful way to mix with the locals. So this is not like a touristy restaurant, but a place that the local fishermen go and eat fresh seafood. Now, if you are in Athens for a short period of time and you cannot go to the Greek islands, there is a way of getting a taste of the Greek islands by taking what we call a day cruise. A day cruise starts from the port I showed you before, and it visits 3 islands: the island of Poros, the island of Aegina, and the island of Hydra. And as the ship starts 7:38 o'clock in the morning, you go to the first island, you have a couple of hours to wander around, do a bit of shopping. This here in the photo is the island of Hydra. As you can see, it's a very nice, picturesque island. There are no cars allowed on this island. So here we use the local transport, as you see, the donkeys to move things around. Another idea about Athens is the open air theaters. This is the Herodion Theater below the Acropolis, where one can enjoy concerts or theater performances. It's a great feeling, and we can organize. These are very popular, and we can pre-book it on your behalf. And in this slide, I have this hotel is Grand Bertin. It's a luxury hotel, the small list of hotels that I recommend when you're in Athens. And location-wise, the best areas to stay in Athens is Syntagma Square or Constitution Square, or the area around the Acropolis. These are the areas that we focus and recommend our customers to be, because you can visit everything within walking distance. Now I'd like to move to the second part of my presentation, which is mainland of Greece. In mainland Greece, you come across some wonderful villages, castles, great beaches, and a lot of ancient sites and museums. I'd like to give you a bit of orientation of Greece, and that's the reason I have put a map here. As you can see here, this is mainland of Greece, and here are the Greek islands, and the right-hand side here is Turkey. And here are other islands, and on the left-hand side, in this direction, is Italy. So most of you will come into Athens here, and as I said, you can spend 2, 3, 4 nights in Athens before going to the Greek islands. And these islands here in the middle are the Aegean Islands, or the Cycladic Islands, where a lot of popular and well-known islands like Mykonos, Santorini belong to. And further down is Crete, and over here is Rhodes. So I've mentioned quickly a few names of Greek islands you consider to visit. And mainland Greece has 2 main, Central Greece and Peloponnese. So as I'm talking about mainland Greece, You see here is a little sample of an ancient theater in Messini, over here. And on the other photo here, I've put the city of Napoleon, a wonderful, quiet city that used to be the first capital of Greece in the 1800s. Of course, now the capital of Greece is Athens. Here is Delphi. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about Delphi. It's a wonderful location. This site can be reached by a day trip from Athens. This is the famous charioteer of Delphi, which is in the local museum. In the Peloponnese area I mentioned before, there are a lot of unspoiled beaches, little fishing villages. This is not an island, it's the mainland. And there are many ways of visiting mainland Greece. For example, you can use a car and self-drive holiday. You can use a day trip for Athens to reach some of the places, not all of them, depending on the distance. And again, here is Meteora that I shared with you before, which is in central Greece. There are a lot of things really to do in mainland Greece. It's hard to cover in a short presentation. Further up, north of Greece, you have also Macedonia, the region of Macedonia. And here in Peloponnese, you can see here the castle of Monemvasia. It's not the castle of Gibraltar, the rock of Gibraltar, but I don't know if I'm biased, but in Greece, I consider it a microcosm of things that you can see around the world, all in one location. This photo here is inside the castle, where you can hire an apartment and stay, have the experience of living in a castle. I mentioned before, again, Macedonia region and the treasures you can see in the local museum dating back to the Alexander the Great period. So that, I hope that part I covered just now gave you a little idea of what one can do in the mainland of Greece. My recommendation for Greece is a 2-week holiday. I usually suggest that people stay in Athens for 2 or 3 nights, and then they can take day trips to some of the archaeological sites or the scenic sites that I mentioned before. And another week or 10 days you can easily spend around the Greek islands. Now this photo is from Santorini. It is a place called Ia, and it's very high up, and you can enjoy wonderful sunsets, and that's why you can see all these people hanging around with their cameras or having a drink, waiting for the sun to go down. So I mentioned that I'd like to recommend one simple itinerary. There are dozens of itineraries that you can do around the Greek islands, but for the sake of this presentation, I suggested a 10-day itinerary, which is 2 nights in Athens, 3 nights in Mykonos, 2 nights in Paros, 3 nights in Santorini, and then 1 last night at Athens airport before you go back to your next destination. How do you go to the Greek islands? So that's another question I get very often, and here is your answer. There's a ferry transportation that starts from Piraeus port. Ferries are very stylish and large vehicles that carry passengers and cars. It's a very nice way to see the Greek islands, because if you go, let's say, from the port of Piraeus near Athens to Mykonos, you don't go directly to Mykonos. On the way, the Greek ferry will call on another couple of islands. So it's like a mini cruise on your way to your destination. The time it takes to visit the Greek islands, to get to the Greek islands, depends on the distance, but usually it can be anything from 3 hours to 6, 7, or 8 hours. So this is where we come and recommend to you how to go from one island to the other. But a lot of popular Greek islands also can be reached by flight, by domestic flight. So you will be happy to work with your local agent and put together an itinerary that works best for you and is efficient for your time you've allocated for your visit here. So once you go and you reach the first island, this is another scene. That's what happens. You know, the ferry stop on the island, and everybody gets out, and the cars, of course. And on the other side, you have a lot of people waiting to take you to your hotel. So again, on the Greek islands, because they're so busy, especially during the sun period, we recommend that we organize our local office to meet you and take you to your hotel and settle you in and give you a bit of information on the Greek island. So we organize a private transfer, or in some cases, if you wish, we can have another transfer, which is a shuttle, and then what we call a third transfer. The first island we're visiting in today's presentation is Mykonos. It's famous for a casual lifestyle. It has wonderful choice of hotels for every budget, and it's very famous for its nightlife. Here's another photo of Mykonos. We call it Little Venice because it looks like Venice. And you can see here, here's a restaurant, taverna by the water, some bars, another bar here, some little residences. And here is the ferry and the port that you will arrive with. Now, what I am really excited about Greece is the lifestyle and the fact that there are hundreds, literally thousands of places like this by the water around the Greek islands, something that in my capacity as a product manager, I've never come across the variety of places that are really in great locations, and they're loved by the tourists that come and visit Greece. So that's one important highlight to keep in the back of your mind that you will not come across in almost any other country of the world. As you are in Mykonos, the Greek islands, there are a lot of little islands nearby, but in Mykonos you can take a half-day cruise with a little boat across to an island called Delos, which is uninhabited, and you will come across this kind of remains. So it's like an open-air museum, great experience. I highly recommend, while in Mykonos, to visit this little island. And again, I like to give you a small list here of hotels that you can stay at in Mykonos, starting with a luxury hotel called Mykonos Grand, all the way down to Manilas Beach, which is a first-class hotel. Again, this is only a very small sample of the accommodation we can offer, and it's available in Mykonos. The next island on the list, so after you've seen Mykonos for 3 nights, you'll take the ferry and you will go to the next island called Paros. Paros is a little bit not as known as Mykonos and Santorini, and that makes it quite unique because it's simpler. The cost of accommodation and the eating out is less expensive than the more known islands. So I recommend to our customers that they can combine a lesser known island with a more known island, so that your budget takes you a long way. Here there are beautiful sandy beaches. You can come across the locals, more slow lifestyle, and a lot of monasteries spread around. I wanted again to share with you another image of Paros, is the port of Nausa, where you can enjoy a walk, or at night this place is full of locals mingling with the visitors and having a great time. And what else can you come across in Paros is the local grocery store. So I can imagine that you most probably have not come across this kind of groceries before, especially in the States. It's quite a unique experience. You can go and buy your food and mix with the locals. All the food is transported by ferry or boats to this island, even though it also has its own production. Here is one hotel in Paros in local style. This is, a first-class hotel. But again, Paros has quite a lot of hotels that a good choice. But if you compare the cost of hotels in Paros with the cost of hotels in Mykonos and Santorini, you'll be paying about 30% less per night in the island of Paros. And then we go into what I call majestic Santorini, because Santorini is unique. I haven't come across any other place in the world. It's always voted as one of the top destinations in the world. The reason being that it's thousands of years ago, there was a volcanic eruption which saved the island. And at the high end of the island, the locals built their homes, as you can see here. And there is a drop of 400 meters down to the sea. And so you can imagine a lot of these properties became hotels. And now visitors can sip their wine or enjoy a nice meal and a sunset with this expanse of water. It's particularly a favorite island for honeymooners or people celebrating anniversaries and so on and so forth. So there is wonderful cuisine. Santorini also has wineries because of volcanic sand. So there's a lot to do in Santorini. Again, I always recommend a minimum of 3 nights stay in every island, so you can get the feel of the place and do some local activities. Here is a photograph from the top for you to see. This is a cruise ship. There's all kind of holiday experience you can imagine. Here is a non-active volcano, but there are some hot water springs here that there's a day trip from Santorini that you can visit. This is a bar called Franco's Bar. Again, it's playing classical music, and you can imagine the experience of sipping your cocktail and seeing the sun go down. It's fantastic. And here are a list of hotels that are my favorite in Santorini. And this photo basically is a hotel. So again, it's built literally on the rock. As you can see, here's a big drop here. Has a swimming pool, lovely restaurant, and the rooms. Very, very nice and very romantic. And that's basically more or less a very quick presentation about Greece. But the last item I wanted to mention is that Greece is very close physically to Turkey, Egypt, Italy, and Croatia. So if you're spending money on airfare and also time to come all the way to Greece, you can always combine Greece with another country, one of these three. You can link with Turkey, either with a flight between Athens and Istanbul, or you can go from the Greek island to the Turkish coast, and we can help you organize this combination. Egypt is only an hour's flight from Athens, and again, what an experience to combine 7,000 years of history in Egypt of the pyramids with the antiquities of Greece. Great idea. Italy, again, the direct flights from Athens to Venice or Athens to Rome, easily a nice combination. And finally, I want to leave you with a nice image of the Greek islands and remind you that working closely with your travel agent and yourselves, we will be very pleased to organize a trip for you, make it personalized to your tastes and expectations. We are very proud that we have a lot of customers coming back to us, not only for Greece, of course, because as I mentioned in the beginning, we cover the whole of Europe and other regions around the world. But personally, I hope that following this presentation, I will welcome you to my hometown Athens, and you will enjoy a wonderful Greek holiday. Thank you for joining in this presentation, and I look forward to helping you with your future vacation in Greece, Europe, and the world. Thank you very much.